تحت الكساء من الفضل عند الله. فقال النبي صلى الله عليه وآله: والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا، ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض، وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا، إلا ونزلت عليهم الرحمة وحفت بهم الملائكة واستغفرت لهم إلى أن يتفرقوا. فقال علي عليه السلام: إذا والله فزنا وفاز شيعتنا ورب الكعبة. فقال أبي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله: يا علي، والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا، ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض، وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا، وفيهم مهموم إلا وفرج الله همه، ولا مغموم إلا وكشف الله غمه، ولا طالب حاجة إلا وقضى الله حاجته. فقال علي عليه السلام: إذا والله فزنا وسعدنا، وكذلك شيعتنا فازوا وسعدوا في الدنيا والآخرة ورب الكعبة. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله، السلام عليك يا ابن رسول الله، السلام عليك يا ابن أمير المؤمنين وابن سيد الوصيين، السلام عليك يا ابن فاطمة سيدة نساء العالمين، السلام عليك يا ثار الله وابن ثاره والوتر الموتور، السلام عليك وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك، عليكم مني جميعا سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار. يا أبا عبد الله، لقد عظمت الرزية وجلت وعظمت المصيبة بكم علينا وعلى جميع أهل الإسلام، وجلت وعظمت مصيبتك في السماوات على جميع أهل السماوات. فلعن الله أمة أسست أساس الظلم والجور عليكم أهل البيت، ولعن الله أمة دفعتكم عن مقامكم وأزالتكم عن مراتبكم التي رتبكم الله فيها، ولعن الله أمة قتلتكم، ولعن الله الممهدين لهم بالتمكين من قتالكم. برئت إلى الله وإليكم منهم ومن أشياعهم وأتباعهم وأوليائهم. يا أبا عبد الله، إني سلم لمن سالمكم وحرب لمن حاربكم إلى يوم القيامة، ولعن الله آل زياد وآل مروان، ولعن الله بني أمية قاطبة، ولعن الله ابن مرجانة، ولعن الله عمر بن سعد، ولعن الله شمرا، ولعن الله أمة أسرجت وألجمت وتنقبت لقتالك بأبي أنت وأمي، لقد عظم مصابي بك، فأسأل الله الذي أكرم مقامك وأكرمني بك أن يرزقني طلب ثارك مع إمام منصور من أهل بيت محمد صلى الله عليه وآله. اللهم اجعلني عندك وجيها بالحسين عليه السلام في الدنيا والآخرة يا رسوله، وإلى أمير المؤمنين، وإلى فاطمة، وإلى الحسن، وإلى وجرى في ظلمه وجوره عليكم وعلى أشيائكم. برئت إلى الله وإليكم منهم، وأتقرب إلى الله ثم إليكم بموالاتكم وموالاة وليكم، بالبراءة من أعدائكم والناصبين لكم الحرب، وبالبراءة من أشياعهم وأتباعهم. إني سلم لمن سالمكم، وحرب لمن حاربكم، وولي لمن والاكم، وعدو لمن عاداكم. فأسأل الله الذي أكرمني بمعرفتكم ومعرفة أوليائكم ورزقني البراءة من أعدائكم أن يجعلني معكم في الدنيا والآخرة، وأن يثبت لي عندكم قدم صدق في الدنيا والآخرة. وأسأله أن يبلغني المقام المحمود لكم عند الله، وأن يرزقني طلب ثاركم مع إمام هدى مهدي ظاهر ناطق بالحق منكم. وأسأل الله بحقكم وبالشان الذي لكم عنده أن يعطيني بمصابي بكم أفضل ما يعطي مصابا بمصيبته، مصيبة ما أعظمها وأعظم رزيتها في الإسلام وفي جميع السماوات والأرض. اللهم اجعلني في مقامي هذا ممن تناله منك صلوات ورحمة ومغفرة. اللهم اجعل محياي محيا محمد وآل محمد، ومماتي ممات محمد وآل محمد. اللهم إن هذا يوم تبركت به بنو أمية، وابن آكلة الأكباد اللعين ابن اللعين على لسانك ولسان نبيك صلى الله عليه وآله في كل موطن وموقف وقف فيه نبيك صلى الله عليه وآله. اللهم لعن أبا سفيان ومعاوية ويزيد بن معاوية، عليهم منك اللعنة أبد الآبدين. وهذا يوم فرحت به آل زياد وآل مروان بقتلهم الحسين صلوات الله عليه. اللهم فضاعف عليهم اللعن منك والعذاب الأليم. اللهم إني أتقرب إليك في هذا اليوم وفي موقفي هذا وأيام حياتي بالبراءة منهم واللعنة عليهم وبالموالاة لنبيك وآل نبيك عليه وعليهم السلام. اللهم لعن أول ظالم ظلم حق محمد وآل محمد وآخر تابع له على ذلك. اللهم لعن العصابة التي جاهدت الحسين وشايعت وبايعت وتابعت على قتله. اللهم لعنهم جميعا 100 مرة. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك. عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار، ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. اللهم خص أنت أول ظالم باللعن مني، وابدأ به أولا ثم لعن الثاني والثالث والرابع. اللهم لعن يزيد خامسا، ولعن عبيد الله بن زياد وابن مرجانة وعمر بن سعد وشمرة وآل أبي سفيان وآل زياد وآل مروان إلى يوم القيامة. سجود. اللهم لك الحمد حمد الشاكرين لك على مصابهم، الحمد لله على عظيم رزيتي. اللهم ارزقني شفاعة الحسين يوم الورود، وثبت لي قدم صدق عندك مع الحسين وأصحاب الحسين الذين بذلوا مهجهم دون الحسين عليه السلام. صلوات.
صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. We'd like to welcome our dear brother and guest Sheikh Muhammad Abbas Panju with the loudest of salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
رحم الله من قرأ سورة المباركة الفاتحة. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله بارئ الخلائق الأجمعين باعث الأنبياء والمرسلين، ثم الصلاة والسلام على أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين، لا سيما مولانا صاحب الأمر والزمان. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. روحي وأرواح العالمين له الفداء، ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين من الأولين والآخرين إلى قيام يوم الدين. أما بعد، قال الله تعالى في محكم كتابه الحكيم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، وجعلناهم أئمة يهدون بأمرنا. صدق الله العلي العظيم وآمنا به. نوروا مجالسكم بذكر محمد وآل محمد. Ahibai, you find that the imamah, the period of leadership, divine leadership of Imam Ali ibn Muhammad Al Hadi salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayh, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad, coincided with some of the most political turbulent times that the Islamic world has ever seen. And in addition to this, it was by far one of the most difficult times, in particular from an ideological perspective, for the Shia. And you find that in order to appreciate the role of Imam Al Hadi and the functions that he carried out as the divine representative of Allah Azza wa Jal, it is important for us to understand the environment and the times in which he lived. You find that, number one, Imam Al Hadi undertook the position of Imamah at the tender age of 8 upon the martyrdom of his father Imam Al Jawad. And you find that as you read through history, this is the first point of ta'ammul. This is the first point of reflection, that you have an individual who has undertaken the role of the leadership of the ummah at the age of 8, an imam from the a'immah at the age of 8. And you find that this in itself is one of the khususiyat, is one of the distinctions of the madhab of tashayyu'. And it is a fact of superiority, or a point of superiority over all other claims of sects and religions that lead towards this one eternal creator, in that no other sect, no other madhab can come forward and present for you an imam from the a'immah, flawless knowledge in tafsir and fiqh and usul at the age of 8. For when we make statements like this, ya ikhwani, not from a sectarian point of view, but for a person who has a free heart and is searching for this path of eternal truth, he must sit back and reflect at these realities. And you find over here that the position of Imam Al Hadi is very similar to the position of Nabi Zakaria, who was granted the position of Nabuwah at a very young age, even less than 5. For a person might say that was Nabuwah and this is Imamah. Well, we say even though there is a distinction between Nabuwah and Imamah, both these positions are divinely appointed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when Allah purifies and selects an individual to be his representative, then age is not a criteria. For having said this, to understand the political backdrop, you find that along as we study this seerah and we reflect upon the seerah of Imam Al Hadi, you find that there are many lessons and many stances within his seerah that act as lessons that are applicable for us in this day and age. There are many political occurrences that happened during the time of Imam Al Hadi, whereby if we are trying to analyze political stances in our day and age, we find that the reflection or the asal or the lessons come from Imam Al Hadi's time. For indeed history repeats itself. Number one, from a political backdrop, Ahibai, the ruling dynasty over the Islamic Ummah that had imposed its rule over the Ummah, Bani Abbas, and the basis of their rule was ideological. Bani Abbas didn't come into power stating that they are secular leaders. La, they justified their position of leadership by emphasizing on the fact that they were the khulafa of Allah Azza wa Jal. And hence every evil action that emanated from them, the people had absolutely no right to question, because this in their eyes was the hukum of Allah and the fi'l, the actions of the Khalifa of Allah. In any case, during the time of Imam Al Hadi, even though the ruling power over the Islamic lands was Bani Abbas, in reality Bani Abbas as a dynasty later on was only placed in power because of the Turks. The Turks had a great influence on Bani Abbas from the time of Imam Al Jawad and Imam Al Rida. Starting from the time of Imam Rida and Imam Al Jawad, Bani Abbas would employ the Turks to serve within the military. And as the time passed, the Turks found themselves to attain high military positions within the government. And as you may know, even in current politics, you will find in a number of countries that the political strength lies in the party or the candidate that is supported by the military. Because at the end of the day, it is through a military coup that a president can be overthrown or brought into power or taken out of power. For you find that these are not issues, political issues that are new, Baba. These are times, or these are political strategies that existed from the time of Imam Al Hadi. For you find that the Atrak, as it is mentioned within the hadith, the Turks had gained high political power. These were foreign powers that were employed by Bani Abbas to ensure that they have total control over the masses of the lands in which they govern. For think about this. You have Muslim, so-called Muslim Bani Abbas, dynasty, rulership, leading power if you want to say, who have employed foreigners for their military, and they establish military rule over their own fellow Muslim masses. Muslim leadership employing foreign powers to assert their control over their own Muslim citizens. Is this something that we not see in today's day and age? This is something that existed during the time of Imam Al Hadi. For as this progressed during the time of Imam Al Jawad and Imam Al Rida, you find that by the time it came to Imam Al Hadi, the Turks had solidified their position within their military to such an extent that they actually became the real rulers of the Islamic land and imposed legislation and policy upon the rulers of Bani Abbas, such that even the poets recite that the Khulafa of Bani Abbas at that time, the Khulafa of Bani Abbas are nothing but parrots who sing the praises and carry out the policies of the Turks who employed them. For these leaders that you see from Bani Abbas, the likes of Mutawakkil and Mu'tasim and Mu'taz alayhim la'natullah, were nothing but the puppets installed by the Turks in order to destroy the Muslim lands. And in fact, when you come and you have a look at the death of Mutawakkil al-La'in, Mutawakkil was only killed by the Turks, who were high-ranking military generals. Why? Because as a foreign power that has installed a puppet government, Yani Bani Abbas, Mutawakkil was of no use, or he had conflict with the Turks. For the Turks went inside in the middle of the night, what would be considered a military execution. 5 or 6 of these high-ranking military generals go and they assassinate Mutawakkil in bed. Al-ajab kull al-ajab. And the most strangest of things is that upon killing Mutawakkil, the same Turks appointed the son of Mutawakkil to become the Khalif of Allah Azza wa Jal. And he ruled. For you find that this is the first aspect of history that requires reflection and for us to understand. And even in this day and age, when we begin to analyze the political environment around us, in order to understand the current events that are transpiring, it is important that we go back to history. And we understand the stances that we take today must be a reflection of the stances that were taken by Imam Al Hadi. And despite the Turks being the real power holders and the kingmakers, this did not absolve Bani Abbas from any of the crimes that they committed. It is the state of the Muslim Ummah that became so wretched as a result of abandoning Ahlul Bayt. And therefore others came and took advantage and took over their resources. Similar to what we see today. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. This is from a political perspective. From an ideological perspective, you find that the time of Imam Al Hadi reflected some of the most difficult times that the Shi'as of Ahlul Bayt have ever seen. Historians mention that one of the ways in which the Shia were tortured, in addition to the Shia, you had a number of opposition parties, if you may say, towards the rulership of Bani Abbas. You had from the Zaydiyya sect, and you had others who were subjects within this Islamic land under the rulership of Bani Abbas, who stood up in revolution against Bani Abbas over a period of time. From the time of Imam As-Sadiq all the way up to the time of Imam Al-Askari, there were constant revolutions that were breaking up, but you find Ahlul Bayt were very cautious in endorsing any one of these revolutions, because not necessarily the enemy of your enemy is your friend. Not necessarily that those revolutions that broke out against Bani Abbas were on the basis of establishing a true ideological government, law, political, maslihah. And therefore the Imam was very cautious in endorsing any one of these revolutions for the Shia, lest their blood be spilled for a political cause that has no ideological benefit for the Shia. For you find that one of the mannerisms in which, regardless of whether they were political oppositions or Shia, you find that one of the manners in which they were tortured by Bani Abbas and by Mutawakkil in particular is that when the prisoner would be brought in front of him, this is one thing that is known that the historians have highlighted, is that Mutawakkil would actually break the hands of the prisoners who were brought into the courtyard. Having broken their limbs, they would be thrown into an arena, and this arena was filled with lions who have been starved for the last 3 or 4 days. For you can imagine, you have 50, 60 of these citizens who have stood up for their rights, their limbs being broken, and in such an helpless state being thrown into an arena with lions that have been starved for the last 3 or 4 days. And this was common practice for Bani Abbas. In addition, historians mention that it was during the time of Mutawakkil that the Haram al-Sharif of Imam al-Hussein was razed down to the ground 17 times. During the imamate of Imam Al Hadi, a period that lasted for 34 years, Mutawakkil commanded for the Haram of Imam Al Hussein to be destroyed 17 times. 17 times this Haram, or 16 times the Haram of Imam Al Hussein was rebuilt, and 17 times it was destroyed. The last time the building was delayed until after the time of Mutawakkil. And this shows us the extent of hatred that Mutawakkil had towards Tashayyu and anything that represented Tashayyu. And it is important for us, brothers and sisters, to reflect, why is it that the Haram of Imam al-Hussein, that the land of Karbala became the target of all the oppressors, starting from Mutawakkil all the time and all the way up to the time of Saddam. What secret lies in Karbala? What secret lies within the dust of Karbala, such that every oppressor trembles and tries to erase any memory of Karbala? Why is it that when there is an attack on Tashayyu, the first attack is the attack on Karbala? Be it military attack, be it ideological attack. Why Karbala? Maybe it may be the enemy perhaps recognizes the power of Karbala more than us, the followers. The hotbed of revolution, and by far the greatest source of inspiration in order to instill change in your life or in your community, can only be sought from Karbala. And you find this in the ziyarat. Year after year, you will meet thousands, if not millions of people whose lives have changed, who have gone on to become leaders in their community and spread the word of Ahlul Bayt, because of that electrical atmosphere inside of Karbala. And it is important for us as the lovers of Ahlul Bayt to ensure that we as well uphold the sanctity of Karbala and uphold the sanctity while performing the ziyarat of Imam Al Hussein. May Allah Azza wa Jal grant each and every one of us the opportunity to perform the ziyarah of Imam Al Hussein in the dunya and to seek his intercession in the akhirah with the barakat of Allah. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. For within this environment, you find that Imam Al Hadi carries out the role of imamah. The function of an imam, ya ahibba'i, is twofold. Number one, the function of an imam is to protect the tenets of the faith in that particular point in time from any sort of deviation, from any form of corruption. This is one. And secondly, the role of the imam is to ensure that through the divine ilm given to him by Allah Azza wa Jal, he will make certain plans and implement certain policies to ensure the growth of tashayyu and the continuity of tashayyu in the future. For the imam not only implements policies to protect the teachings, the true teachings of Islam at the current time, but in addition, he sets out policies and strategies to ensure that tashayyu continues for hundreds if not thousands of years after them. And this is an important point for us to understand in Usuluddin under the Bahath of Imamah. Because if this is understood, a lot of the contemporary challenges that we face today are solved. You find that under the name of reformation and a wave of reformist Shiaism which is trying to make its way as mainstream teachings, one of their founding principles behind this so-called reformist movement is that the teachings of Islam are not applicable to us within the 21st century. How many times have we heard this argument that even certain concepts within the Quran, they are not relevant for us in the 21st century? Quran was revealed 1400 years ago for Arabs who were living in the desert, who had a certain thaqafah and culture, and many of the rulings are applicable for them, not for us. And the same thing when it comes to a hadith. Based on this principle, an entire school of thought springs up. The base problem over here is a lack of understanding of the concept of imamah within Usuluddin. If you understand from the big books of Kalam, and if you understand from the seerah of Ahlul Bayt, that the role of an imam and the function of the imam is twofold, and one of these functions is that the imam strategizes for the continuity of the faith. Regardless of time, his teachings are timeless, then half of the challenges that we face in today's day and age end. Half of the ishkalat that are placed on us end. For these are the two functions of the imam, and we take an example of each two in order to benefit from the seerah of Imam Al Hadi. The first is that you find in the current times, keeping in mind that the surrounding of Imam Al Hadi and the atmosphere was one of intense hatred towards Ahlul Bayt. Nawasib existed in every corner of the earth. at that time, during the time of Imam Al Hadi, the city of Isfahan was a city that was known for producing nawasib of the next caliber. Subhanallah, with the barakat of Ahlul Bayt and the ulama, you find today Isfahan to be a fort from the many forts of Tashayyuh. Isfahan was never like this before. It was one of the capitals of the nawasib. For you find that at the age of 8, Mu'tasim al-La'in, after having poisoned Imam al-Jawad, employed one of the nawasib, gave him a government salary in order to go to Medina and to specially undertake the nurturing and the education of Imam Al Hadi, because they all knew that Imam Al Jawad has left behind him a son the age of 8. So the strategy of Bani Abbas was that if we are able to take over the education, these are keywords, ahibai, and these are things that apply to us in this day and age. Look at the thinking of the dictator. Nothing changes in history, huh? Mu'tasim is of the opinion, if we undertake and we become responsible for the education of Imam Al Hadi, the Shia know that Imam Al Jawad was their leader and he has left behind for them another Imam called Imam Al Hadi. So they are of the opinion, if we undertake the responsibility of the education of Imam Al Hadi, we can mold him in a certain way. We can mold his thinking in a certain way, and then we can stage him as the Imam of the Shia, but he will be an Imam who is influenced by our ideology, because the source of education is us. Sometimes the minds of the nations is controlled through ta'aleem. When an education system that contradicts your base ideological beliefs and cultures is imposed upon you, you become a product of that system in the name of education. These are not things that are new. These are from the strategies of Bani Abbas. For in any case, Mu'tasim appoints one of these nawasib by the name of Al-Junaidi, whose task is to give education and tarbiyah to Imam Al Hadi, who was at the age of 8. A few months later, one of the generals of Mu'tasim is sent to Al-Junaidi in order to get a progress report, what we would say in this day and age. And he says to Junaidi, how has your time been with this young child, Ibn Rida? They used to refer to Imam Al-Jawad, Imam Al Hadi, and Imam Al-Askari as Ibn Rida, the son of Imam Al-Rida. He says, how is your time with Ibn Rida? Have you been able to influence his thinking? Have you been able to see, is there any potential in this child to be a leader in the future who will carry out the policies and the agendas of Bani Abbas? Al-Junaidi looks at this general and he says to him, and I swear by Allah that one of the greatest sins is to call this person a boy, when in essence he should be referred to as a fountain of knowledge. Al-Junaidi, who was the most learned individual within the Islamic lands despite being a Nasibi, he was one of the most learned scholars when it came to Islamic literature and Arabic grammar. He says, every time I sat with this Imam Al Hadi, a child, person who looks like a child, an individual who looks like a child of 8, every time I sat with him, this Nasibi says, Wallah, I thought that I have given him a lesson in literature, but from every lesson that I gave him, he gave me multiple lessons in literature, fields of knowledge which I never knew existed. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. It was a matter of time until Junaidi, Al-Junaidi, became Shia and the follower of Imam Al Hadi. This is Imam Al Hadi at the age of 8. Over here, again, a number of points of reflection, such that even though the bahath is historical, as we said, it's applicable for us, even in this day and age. Ya ahibai, even the nasibi can gain guidance. This is dalil from the seerah of Imam Al Hadi. When you say nasibi, these are nawasib who are ordering for the executions of the Shia. But the reality is that a lot of them are products of propaganda. A lot of these people are people who have never been given access to dalil. Sahih, there are those who will never change, but there are those who are products of propaganda. And tabligh and spreading the truth should never stop. Concentrating the spread of truth, particularly to these groups that portray the sternest of opposition towards Ahlul Bayt, the brunt of the tabligh and majority of the tabligh should actually be focused towards them. The manner in which tabligh is done is important. The akhlaq that accompanies it, the ilm that accompanies it. It's a science and an art on its own. But through the teachings of Imam Al Hadi, we see that even those who were their staunchest in their enmity towards Ahlul Bayt ended up becoming followers and lovers of Ahlul Bayt. Why? Because they were enlightened by that knowledge that was portrayed by Ahlul Bayt. And hence our responsibility towards Tashayyu and our responsibility towards Imam Al Hadi to work as much as possible in terms of spreading the knowledge of Ahlul Bayt. We live at a time where we have access to media. Not only access to media, we live at a time where Shia Ithna Ashari as a school of thought has made breakaways and has made achievements when it comes to owning outlets of media. Something that the Shia have never had before in time. These things need to be taken advantage of. Social media needs to be used in order to spread the teachings of Ali Muhammad. You look at the book Peshawar Nights, Layali Peshawar. Layali Peshawar, Sultanul Wa'izin al-Shirazi, the title that is given to him. He went to Peshawar and he sat down with some of the most stern nawasib in Peshawar, and over a period of time sat down with them and had discussions from everything, from all the way of Saqifa all the way to the validity of doing sajda on turba. And over a period of time, with a discussion that was academic and respectful and based on dalil, free of obscenities and foul language, you find that these Nawasib scholars of Peshawar embraced the school of Ahlul Bayt. And hence we need to ask ourselves, what is our duty when it comes to spreading the teachings of Ahlul Bayt? This is one. And you also find Bain al-Qawsayn, because we are on this point, Bani Abbas also understood that the more Imam Al Hadi taught the people, the more Imam Al Hadi interacted with the people, the greater he was a danger to that ruling power. When they saw the effect of Imam Al Hadi on those people who are the most sternest in their enmity, Mutawakkil sees that loyalty towards the ruling regime is changing towards Imam Al Hadi, to the extent that Imam Al Hadi, through his knowledge and through his akhlaq, even had an impact on the bodyguards of Mutawakkil. Ajib jiddan, the influence that Imam Al Hadi had on this government of Bani Abbas, such that it is mentioned by one of the historians that when Imam Al Hadi was being brought from Medina towards Samarra, he was being escorted in this journey by one of the highest ranking bodyguards of Mutawakkil. From Medina they went to Baghdad, and then from Baghdad to Samarra. This period in which this Nasibi spent with Imam Al Hadi from Medina to Baghdad, he was so mesmerized by the personality and the ilm of Imam Al Hadi. When he reaches Baghdad, he tells the governor of Baghdad, if even a single hair on the head of this youth is hurt or harmed, I shall ensure your execution. High-ranking bodyguard from the bodyguards of Mutawakkil. And when Mutawakkil saw that loyalty is starting to shift to the other side because of the interactions of Imam Al Hadi and the influence that Imam Al Hadi was able to assert through his knowledge and his influence, steps were taken to ensure that Imam Al Hadi is jailed in solitary confinement, is kept in solitary confinement. Which is why when you look at the manner in which Imam Al Hadi was imprisoned, it is very particular and different in regards to the manner in which other A'imma were imprisoned. Not only was he placed inside of a military garrison, his interaction with the rest of the Shia cut off. In addition to that, he was house imprisonment, and in addition to that, there were multiple prisons in which Imam Al Hadi was confined. One of these prisons you find is about 3.5 kilometers from the haram of Imam Al Hadi and Imam Al Askari in the city of Samarra. And alhamdulillah wa shukr, with the grace of our 12th Imam and the courage of the lovers of Ahlul Bayt, the people of Iraq, Samarra has become a place of ziyarah that is open again for a number of zawar, all zawar, Aman from Baghdad all the way to Samarra. And it is important for us that when we go to Samarra, ya ahibba'i, we don't make Samarra a transit destination where you travel there for a day trip for a couple of hours and come back. Everybody has got their own circumstances and khair inshallah. But if a person is able to spend time in Samarra, spend the night inside of Samarra, this is something that is matloob. There are mazarat, places of ziyarah in and around the haram of Imam Al Hadi that perhaps a lot of us are not even aware of. One of them is the prison of Imam Al Hadi, 3 kilometers outside the haram. And this place, alhamdulillah wa shukr, documentaries have been made about this, and zawar are able to go and visit this. And inshallah we also have the tawfiq. You understand how tashayyu has reached you at the expense of great sacrifices that were paid by the Shia and by the Imams of Ahlul Bayt. 3 kilometers from the haram of Imam Al Hadi in Samarra, they have one of the remainders, an area which is the remainder of the palace of Mutawakkil. And within that you will get to see the area of the arena in which the lions were kept, such that the prisoners were fed and eaten alive. And this is the same arena, by the way, Bain al-Qawsayn, where Imam Al Hadi was also thrown over there. And the traditions say that the lions came and performed sajda in front of Imam Al Hadi. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Within this courtyard and this arena, this palace of Mutawakkil, even the spot of the imprisonment of Imam Al Hadi in an underground dungeon is preserved till today. And when you go and you visit the place, and perhaps you can see the documentaries on the Shia channels that have spoken and recorded this, the particulars of this prison and this dungeon. From the ground floor of the courtyard, you take stairs, and these are stairs that have been built, yani over the years, they're not there at that time, 11 feet under the ground. If the lights were to be switched off, you are not able to tell the difference between day and night. Understand the conditions under which Imam Al Hadi was imprisoned. 11 feet under the ground, the Imam was kept in solitary confinement, and within this small room, which is 11 feet under the ground, there was another hole that was dug. perhaps 5 feet lower into the ground. So 11 and 5, 16 feet. The dimensions of that hole, the length in itself, the height is just about 1.5 meters. In this constrained dungeon, a hole dug 16 feet under the ground, Imam Al Hadi was imprisoned over here for continuous periods, long periods of time. Athar. This is our history and this is our legacy that we need to uphold and we need to understand. For those of us who are going for ziyarah, for those of us who arrange ziyarat, we need to do our utmost to pay respect and to uphold these places of history and pay tribute to them and educate our Shia of the jihad and the sacrifices that our imams and those before us have given. At the very minimum, we appreciate our religion. In either case, moving to our last point before we have the na'i, ahibai, the role of the imam in regards to implementing strategies to ensure the continuity of the deen even after his martyrdom. The imam implements strategies to ensure the continuity of the deen for eternity. You and I today are beneficiaries, are recipients of those divine strategies implemented by Imam Al Hadi to ensure the continuity of the deen. One of the tasks that Imam Al Hadi undertook, and perhaps one of the most important tasks, was that Imam Al Hadi nurtured a group of ulama who would play a crucial role, number one, in spreading tashayyu' despite the propaganda of Bani Abbas, number one. And number two, he would give tarbiyah to a certain group of individuals who would ensure the continuity of the Shia during the Ghaybat al-Sughra in particular. Fadl ibn Shadhan is one of the companions of Imam Al Hadi. Fadl ibn Shadhan is those companions who was in the same ranks as Hisham ibn Hakam, the student of Imam Sadiq, and Muhammad ibn Umair, the student of Imam Sadiq and Baqir. Fadl ibn Shadhan was one of those students of Imam Al Hadi under the tarbiyah of Imam Al Hadi. He would go out and debate with different people from different schools and establish the concept of imamah. This is something that is matloob. Fadl ibn Shadhan, historians, Rijal in the Rijal al-Kishi, it is mentioned that he was an author of close to 180 books. Tayyib, these books were beneficial for who? These books were beneficial for this next generation of Shia and the ulama coming up from Imam al-Askari's time. This is one. Number two, tarbiyah of the students and the ulama in particular, who would then ensure that the Shia community is not fractured during Ghaybat al-Sughra. Ghaybat al-Sughra, ya ahibai, was by far one of the most difficult times the Shia community ever witnessed. Not only was the continuity of the faith, but the existence of the faith for years later. Everything depended on how the Shia ulama held the community together during Ghaybat al-Sughra. There had never been a point in time for a Shia ummah where they do not have or will not have undefined access to the imam. Yes, every one of the imams was imprisoned. Majority of the imams were imprisoned, and a number of the times the Shias didn't have access to the imams because they were imprisoned or because of the distance factor. But the fact that the imam existed amongst them and was accessible, not that his personality was anonymous and communication was to be cut altogether. For the Shia community entering into Ghaibat al-Sughra, this was a point that was extremely sensitive. If this core community did not hold their faith together, if there was no one to gel their beliefs together, then Shiaism, the first stumbling block for Shiaism would start from there. None of us would have benefited from this faith or continue to benefit for this faith if that community fell in its imtihan, because teachings are taught from generation to generation. It was an extremely turbulent time. Bani Abbas was looking for the Mahdi. There were claims that the Mahdi is not yet born. There were claims that the Mahdi is a superficial figure. There were claims that other people claimed to be the Mahdi. In all this imtihan and all this fitna, it was extremely difficult for the ummah to maintain its correct ideology. And so, look at the state of the Shia in this day and age. Sometimes when there is ikhtilaf in fatwa between the Maraja, our entire faith system drops and people begin to even doubt the trueness of this faith. When it comes to something like ikhtilaf in fatwa fiqhiyah, imagine the extent of the fitna at the time of Ghaibat al-Sughra. Who ensured that the community would remain firm and established in its core principles of the faith? Imam Al Hadi. Because he raised the students and the ulama who would then be in charge of this community. And two of these ulama, students of Imam Al Hadi, that stand out from all the other distinguished companions. The first one is by the name of Ahmad bin Ishaq al-Qummi. In the kitab or in the books of Rijal, particular Rijal of Kishi, it is mentioned that Ahmad bin Ishaq al-Qummi was the face of the ulama of the Qummiyin. Face of the ulama, yani wajhul ulama, the wajh of the ulama al-Qummiyin. Yani the most learned, the most apparent, the most, you could say, vibrant or significant of the scholars of Qum, Ahmad ibn Ishaq al-Qummi, who had sought his education and tarbiyah of Imam Al Hadi. And had it not been for the education and the taqwa instilled in him by Imam Al Hadi, Ahmad ibn Ishaq al-Qummi was granted the sharaf of having seen the 12th Imam before he went into Ghaibat al-Sughra. Imam al-Askari trusted him to that level. And you know, to see the 12th Imam was something that was very rare. You need to have been of a distinguished level of iman and taqwa in order to gain access to see the Imam. But having seen the Imam, the job of Ahmad ibn Ishaq al-Qummi was not only to hide this information from Bani Abbas, but as well to go out and give confidence to the other Shia who had not seen Imam al-Hujjah, give them confidence and establish their faith and strengthen their faith in order to remain firm during these difficult times. Men of honor and men of steel when it comes to character and ideology. These men were products of the tarbiyah of Imam Al Hadi. Just like the way men of war and men of honor in Karbala, the likes of Habib ibn Madahir and Abis, were products of the tarbiyah of Imam Hassan al-Mujtaba. In the same way, the ulama that upheld tashayyu during Ghaibat al-Sughra are the products of Imam Al Hadi. And the second individual is Abu Amr Uthman ibn Sa'id al-Amri, one of the 4 Nawab of Imam al-Hujjah during Ghaibat al-Sughra. When the Imam went into Ghaiba, Ahibai, Ghaibat al-Sughra, he handpicked his representatives. This is my Naib, Abu Sa'id, for example, Abu Amr Uthman ibn Sa'id al-Amri. And then you have Hussein ibn Ruh al-Nawbakhti, for example. And upon the completion of Ghaybat al-Sughra and the beginning of Ghaybat al-Kubra, there has never been an appointment by Imam al-Hujjah of a Naib. La. The Imam rather came and gave us a number of criteria and qualifications, and whoever met these criteria and qualifications, and we identified them to have this, they then went on to take the position of what we would say today Maraj al-Taqlid. But you don't have in Ghaybat al-Kubra a Marj al-Taqlid appointed by the Ma'soom Imam. This is from the known facts. For the distinguishing aspect of Ghaybat al-Sughra, you have 4 Nawab who were picked by the Imam, selected by the Imam. One of these Nawab was Abu Amr Uthman ibn Sa'id al-Amri, the Naib of the 12th Imam, who was in charge of communicating, the person in charge of communication between the Imam in Ghaiba and the Shia Ummah. This individual, what level of Iman must he have had? What level of Taqwa must he have had? Abu Amr Uthman ibn Sa'id al-Amri was even granted the responsibility of arranging the funeral of Imam al-Askari. What level of Iman, what level of Taqwa did this person have, such that he was entrusted with such sensitive tasks? Tasks that were crucial to the continuity of Tashayyu'. What characters did he possess? Who gave him the tarbiyah and nurtured him such that he is deserving of this position? The historians mention that Abu Amr Uthman ibn Sa'id al-Amri was a student of Imam Al Hadi from the tender age of 11. From the time Abu Amr was 11 years old, he gained this tarbiyah. And this is how you find the contributions of Imam Al Hadi in terms of nurturing scholars who would ensure the